And I've, I myself have, almost had like a form of psychosis back in the past where I basically thought everything was staged, even though I've now learned a lot of times things aren't staged. So, I think as a pundit and someone giving opinion, that, my opinions have been wrong, but they were never wrong consciously to hurt people.
It looks like a last-minute spending bill will be pulled from consideration due to public objection. After hearing from the voters, too many Republicans came out against it. Trump was opposed, and he pointed out that the bill would keep alive an illegal censorship program and also prevent an investigation into the shenanigans related to January the 6th. The opposition also included Steve Bannon.
Elon put it out earlier, I think this thing should pass or should fail. And I put up hard pass. I was going to put up, and I just didn't at the last second, motion to vacate. I think we just got to go to that. I think we got to go to that. Like, tell him, hey, dude, don't even put your name up. It's not going to happen. This is an epic fail. And not just that, it's the way the process is handled. Like Vivek said, they should have been working on this thing months ago and been transparent. What galls me is the treating you like an idiot.
The bigger part of the story is that Elon Musk was opposed to it. He started posting objections on Twitter, including a picture of the bill, and a demand that the bill be pulled. Within hours, the media began to amplify Elon's opposition. And in the apparent end of the matter, Elon celebrated. The voice of the people was heard. This might have been a remarkable display of the people being galvanized, and quickly, to make their dissatisfaction heard, so that the politicians had to give in. We don't have a president right now. Why do we need to fund the government? On the other hand, I'm so used to the government lying and the politicians breaking their promises, it's difficult not to question whether all of this is on the level. This bill did not come out of the blue. The people in D.C. have been working on it for months. No one can write 1,500 pages of legislation overnight. They had to know that the public would be irate. They did the same thing last year, and the public anger probably helped Trump win. Maybe this was just a strategic mollification of the public, and the really nasty stuff is just around the corner.
Someone in Louisiana has been diagnosed with the first severe bird flu illness in the U.S. We're told that person had contact with sick and dead birds in a backyard flock, typically a few birds for small-scale farming or as a hobby. Most cases have been in commercial poultry or dairy settings and have been mild. Health officials stress the risk to the general public remains low, with no evidence of person-to-person spread.
According to Google, a reliable source of information, bird flu is a virus that primarily affects birds. Humans can be infected, but this is rare. Human infections typically occur through close contact with infected birds or contaminated environments. But the power-hungry pinhead Gavin Newsom won't respect the science. He has decided to take action against this minimal risk. Because 61 people across 8 states supposedly have been infected, he has declared a state of emergency. He finds that these conditions pose an extreme peril to the safety of people and property. On its face, this is ridiculous. However, looking at what's going on in the media, it's very reminiscent of similar actions in the not very distant past.
We have some big picture stuff coming down the pike starting on January 21st. Mr. Bloomberg mentioned H5N1. That I'm really worried about. It's all over wild birds on the western part of the United States and going up in the north. It's getting into the poultry. We're seeing sporadic human cases, no human-to-human transmission yet, but that could happen. It's in the cattle, it's in the milk, and that's just the beginning. We have another major coronavirus likely brewing in Asia. We've had SARS in 2002, SARS-2, COVID-19 in 2019. And we know these viruses are jumping from bats to people thousands of times a year. But there's still more. We know that we have a big problem with mosquito-transmitted viruses all along the Gulf Coast, where I am here in Texas. So we're expecting dengue and possibly Zika virus coming back, or a Puche virus, maybe even yellow fever. And there's more. Then we have all this sharp rise in vaccine preventable diseases going up because of, in part, the anti-vaccine activism that's so prominent right now. We have a five-fold rise in pertussis cases, whooping cough over the last year, 15 measles outbreaks this year. We've got polio that's been in the wastewater in New York State. All that's going to come crashing down on January 21st on the Trump administration. We need a really, really good team to be able to handle this.
Tulsi Gabbard, a former House Democrat who became a Republican this year, faces stiff opposition to her joining the Trump administration as Director of National Intelligence. Gabbard, however, told NPR she remains optimistic as she meets with senators.
Taking the opportunity to be able to engage with each of them personally and hear what's on their minds and share what President Trump's vision is and how we look forward to working together.
Gabbard has drawn criticism for her apparent acceptance of brutal dictators, including Syria's ousted leader. She's among Trump's more controversial nominees.
I want to believe in Tulsi. I want to believe that there's something honest about this government. The good news is it looks like some of the opposition to her becoming Trump's most trusted advisor is weakening. The bad news is that it is the Republicans who are coming around to support her, which they should if everything's on the level. The Senate typically grants presidents a great deal of deference in selecting members of their cabinets. Anyway, the static is dying down, and there's a sense that the Republicans will confirm Tulsi, if for no other reason than a fear of retribution from Trump. In addition, The Economist is also warming up. They point out that the Democrats call Tulsi a Russian asset, but that there's no evidence for this. Probably Tulsi will win. Hopefully she will keep her promises.